Well, we've had some rainy days outside, but now it's warm and dry enough for me to get out there and try to tackle weeds. And I realize my three worst enemies are the dandelions. They're real pretty right now, but they look so wicked later. And then I have the mock strawberry that is really, really all over my flower beds. And the thistle. I'll never get rid of those, but at least I've got to try. But those are the three worst that you can see. Now, since I've had some wet weather, I'm hoping that that'll make it a little bit easier to yank and pull some of these out. Now, I'm going to use a tool, of course, because if you just kind of pop them off near the ground, that gets rid of them, but they just grow right back. So I try to at least delay the grow back when I can get some of the root. Now, I do have a lot of ajuga back in here among all my dandelions. You're lucky if you can get that root thing. And then this is the weird shape tool that I'm using to dig with. But I am just going to tackle it section by section and see what I can get done. I still have a lot of leaves that I did not rake off of this last year. I blew them off, but let, I don't know, I'd say a major portion of the leaves stick in there to try to protect. You really can't see from this view, but there are a lot of perennials in there that I have planted. I have Russian sage in there. I have lavender. I have some coneflowers, unless those have died out, and black-eyed Susie. There's a few types of sedum in there. And I have a St. John's wort bush. Now, you might be able to see in this view that I've got a little circle of fencing around some of the plants. That's a way I can safeguard them, because if I can't see them, I step on them. And I like to know where they are when the spring hits so that I can make sure I don't step on them. And as I go through this type of a weed pulling session, I have to watch that I don't step on some. And or when I rake vigorously, don't pull one up by the roots. And if I should, I just try to quickly transplant it. And you can see right there in the center of the screen is a geranium. That's the Roseanne geranium. And I'm going to put one of the white sticks there so I can more closely see it, because it took a long time for it to come up in the spring for me to even know where it was and place one of these little wire pieces of fencing. And I went to look for some more of that because I need more at this time of year, but I can't find it anywhere. I couldn't find it at Lowe's or Home Depot because it's only about maybe 12 inches, possibly 15 inches high. And it comes in a long roll, maybe 15, 20 feet, but I can't find it anywhere. I may see if I can locate it to order and have sent to me, because this just lasts forever and ever. You can store it each year and bring it back each year to reuse and reuse. Protects from the rabbits, squirrels, chipmunks, whatever tries to eat your plants. Those deer too. Now over in here, I'm just going to tackle, I try to get the dandelions when they're finished, not quite finished, because I risk not being able to get out there and then they go to their puffball stage and then I can't get to them because they've already sent out per little bloom there 1,000 seedlings. So you've got to get those quickly before they can disperse all around. Now I have Liatris in here too, and I had a hard time distinguishing the little sprouts of thistle with the Liatris, but I think I've finally seen the difference and I'm able to get those. You can see where that mock strawberry just kind of vines and grows right around the foundation, and it just travels, and yes, it crosses the patio and goes out the other side and is behind shrubbery and everything. But it is very hard to control that stuff. We've got a lot of huge, I think it's sycamore leaves that blow over from the neighbor's yard, and they stay pretty solid all year. Look at all that thistle right in there. And yes, even if it's tiny, it still has such bad stickers in it, going through your gloves sometimes. I hate that. But unfortunately, you've got to work with it. That's what it looks like. And the thistles themselves, they just keep regrowing. If you let them mature, they either have like a little purple cone at the top that has a lot of seed in it. Yes, the birds like to eat it. It's good for the birds, but it will make a complete blanket over the, there it is. See that wickedness? And that root goes way down into a network of roots. And they just, where you pull that off, it just grows another one up and another one. See, there's that little fence ring that I talked about around one of my Roseanne geraniums. But that network of thistles is just so wicked that it's like you'll never get rid of it, because they just all they're almost like a netting under there, and they can be 4 and 5 feet underground, and just if you pull one, it'll just send another one to the top. So you've got to get rid of those, especially before they bloom. And I got to admit, yeah, those dandelions are pretty, but they are not pretty once that thing withers, and then you're on a deadline to see if you can get them out before they turn into the white puffballs. So you just got to hurry and dig them out one by one by one. And you can see I'm uncovering a piece of Russian sage there, which it was hard to see, and I'm always afraid of stepping on them before I can find them. Russian sage is pretty forgiving, but I'm sure I could stomp some out if I got it in the right spot. And some of this through here, I'm forgetting which areas had the lavender and which had the Russian sage, but I really liked how it behaved here. There are stepping stone slabs in here that I put down, but they've been overgrown by the ajuga. They're covered up by some of these leaves and everything. So I have to expose those. And I may be later digging out some of the ajuga so I can put it in some other areas where I want it to blanket out the weeds. But the ajuga is pretty, it's an aggressive plant, and it's going to take over and form a mat. And depending on the type of weed, it's going to go through the weed. And I did have less problem with the dandelions in the lower portion of the bed, because the ajuga was planted in the lower portion out toward that sidewalk. And it's this inner portion where I have now the most of the dandelions, which the ajuga is progressively going to get back to that and hopefully choke those out too. I mean, we can dream. It may not happen, but we can dream. But it feels good to dig down in there and pull out that long root of the dandelion, because almost you can count on, when you get rid of that long root, that particular dandelion won't come back. But I know I've let loose a lot of those little seeds in here where I didn't get to them quick enough. And so there'll be more seeds. Look at that good root. Boy, that makes a gardener feel good. If you know my feeling of pleasure in getting that full thing. Now that's how the thistles are underground. They go way down. I could have made that picture, 12 inches deep, because of that network down there is just so massive, because they just pop right back up through the top. Look at that nice big clump. Now this will expose some open area that I'd like to put a bunch of more of the Liatris corms. They're coming up this year. They've multiplied, and so I could have some big clumps back there for a tall portion near my, I got speedwell and some tall bee balm right there against the wall. And I'd like to get more of that growing. I've not seen anything seeding around. I wish it seeded more, but I don't have a lot of experience right now with bee balm. I don't know if mine are the massively seeding type, so maybe I should just not wish for that, because if my wish comes true and this whole bed is of bee balm, I may regret that. But I do like it. I think bee balm is really, really nice. I've emptied this bucket here behind me, the green bucket, several times, and I ended up with a full trash can, like a 32-gallon trash can full, to take out to the garbage. I put it in a garbage bag, empty it into a garbage bag, and take it out, because I'm not going to compost something like that and save it. I hope I'm not stepping on anything. I know there's a big possibility that I am, but I've just got to take my chances. But it feels good to get rid of those. Now, this is kind of like, I would call this the main weeding that I'm doing, getting out the majority of everything like in one sweep. And I know there are some that I'm not getting. I can even see the mock strawberry, the thistle, and everything that I'm skipping. But right now, before that dandelion goes to seed, I've got to make sure I get rid of the dandelion. So you just have to take it step by step and get rid of this. If you take it in quadrants, it can, you can get a lot done just working at it, for 30 minutes. Rest for a while. For me, at my age, rest for a while, and then, have a drink. And I'm talking about ice water to keep yourself hydrated, and then come back out again. Now, I'm doing this in the early morning. The sun is, in this picture, it'd be off to the right from this picture, because my sun sets to the front of the house, which would be to the left in this picture. So I like to do it in the early morning when it's light enough to see well enough, but has not gotten hot yet. I moved the camera, got a different angle here to get in the end. That's a lot of Angelina I've got started right there in the edge. And I do have some black-eyed Susie and some coneflower if it has survived. I'm trying to get that to take hold down there. It's supposed to be quote-unquote reseeding and invasive, but maybe it can't compete with the carpet bugle. But I'll keep it if it gets there, because I like it. I'm going to do some rearranging this year of some of my hypertufa containers to get them out and, I don't know, more suitable in my bed. Look at all that. See all that thistle? And it kind of hides. It blends into the green, and you just have to concentrate and say, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's save that. It's a trial, but it comes out. It's a little hard to get out of this type of a flower bed more than it is in my more bare side flower beds, because those are more open and more soil in between, a little bit easier. But we get it done because this is what we gardeners do. And that is a big rock there. Right there. It looks like an upended flower pot, but it's a rock there that I have for decoration. I think there's 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken, down through there. And they are really sitting next to a stump where I took out some very, very overgrown shrubs that once were here, but I couldn't dig out the stumps, but I put the rock next to them so I wouldn't trip over them every time I did some of this kind of work. So now I trip over the stones, but a little easier to see. But I'm well pleased with the amount of work I got done on this particular morning. I took some further days to do another sweep to get more done. And it's really, a work in progress, because you're never going to get rid of them all. You just have to keep trying and trying and trying. And in my case, discovering some more of your buried plants that hopefully you didn't step on and ruin. But that's where I need some more of that little fence guard. Yes, I've used all my little trash cans. They're on other plants, upended trash cans, and the circles that I had. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you on another video.